Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Directions Mag Geospatial webinar, today sponsored by our friends at Esri. We encourage you to read the latest geospatial news articles, of course, listen to more podcasts, and watch more webinars at directionsmag.com. We are excited to have Harshi, Emily, and Maria with us today. So Harshi and Emily are going to be talking to us about ArcGIS Hub. They've got some great examples as well as demos and all the information to get your community going. And then Maria's going to join us for Q&A. So ladies, welcome. We're excited to learn more today.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. Both me and Emily are very excited for the content that we have curated for this webinar here. So the topic here today is, of course, talking about what deep collaboration really means and how Hub can help you establish collaboration and a deep collaboration with your community members. So I'm Harshi. I'm a product manager on the ArcGIS Hub team. And we also have Emily Nilsson here today, who's a senior product manager on the Hub team as well. You want to say hi, Emily?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here with you today.
Thank you. So the agenda for today's webinar is, of course, going into understanding a little bit about what is deep collaboration and why do we even need to think about deep collaboration when it comes to organizations or governance in general, and a little bit of an introduction to ArcGIS Hub just to kind of level set. And of course, I'll go into a little bit of a case study, showing you some examples of how Hub customers today are using the product to establish deep collaboration, and then dive into some of the steps. So we basically understand that deep collaboration could be established using Hub in 4 main steps. So we'll be going in through details of each of those steps and how Hub tools fit into each of those, and showing you examples and more case studies along the way. And we'll be leaving you with a list of resources that you can explore after the webinar here, and of course our contact information as well in case you want to talk to us, ask more questions, and get more information after the webinar here today. So let's get right into it. What is deep collaboration and how did the concept of deep collaboration come into picture? So collaboration as such is not a very new topic. In fact, we know that all of the organizations here today have this concept of collaboration ingrained very deeply into the way they do things, into the way they organize things. But a decade or a couple of decades ago, there was a lot of studies that were conducted to understand why projects are failing. Why are projects not getting completed on time or on budget? And the statistics were really shocking. It was basically understood that about 33% of the projects were failed solely because of the lack of involvement for the entire project team. And groups basically completed less than 1/3 of the project on time and on budget. And 20% of the managers basically said that one of the main reasons why the projects are failing is because of poor communication or even a complete lack of communication. So all of these statistics and all of the studies that were conducted basically boil down to one thing: the need for a more sustained way of collaborating between your team members or between the stakeholders and at large. And that's what gave rise to this definition or this idea of deep collaboration, which basically means it is an outcome. It's not a process, rather it is an outcome when individual members of a team come together and they start working on achieving a defined goal. And the defined goal could be something as broad as climate change or the recent pandemic, or it could be something very, very focused to you, your organization, and your community, such as conducting a tree survey or putting up a new traffic signal in your community. So the goal, the scope of the goal does not matter as long as you have defined it very well and you know who are the people who are coming together to work on this. So when we take this really broad concept and try to understand how Hub fits into this, or how Hub can help you achieve that level of deep collaboration, there are 2 things to keep in mind. First and foremost, what is a team? And how Hub can help you establish those teams, and what is a defined goal and how Hub can help you establish that goal and communicate that goal. So the important thing is a team is a composition of people with different experiences, unique experiences, and different skill sets. And we at Hub help you identify those skill sets. We help you identify those stakeholders that have the shared interests, that have the common goals, and you bring them together and give them tasks to work on within a Hub. And when I say work, it's not just exchanging information. It's not just exchanging spreadsheets. It's about strategy. It's about planning. It's about problem solving. So taking it a step further. So when you combine these two aspects of individuals with unique skill sets and people working on strategy together, you can deliver exceptional results. And that's what Hub aims to do. It aims to bring people with unique skill sets, stakeholders together so that you can work together on delivering some exceptional results. But that's not where we want you to stop, and that's not where we think organizations to stop. It's about collective performance. It's about learning. It's about winning together. It's always good to go back and see how are we performing. Is there something we need to do? Is there something we need to reset? Should we shift our focus? And Hub can help you with that. Hub can help you put it very visually. What is the impact that you and your stakeholders are having? What percentage of your goal have you achieved? And what part of your strategy is not working, or is it working? So this is how the concept of deep collaboration looks like in Hub. So yes, this is a very conceptual slide, but we've also boiled it down into what are the specific steps organizations or Hub customers can do to establish this level of collaboration with their community or stakeholders at large. The first and foremost thing, like I've been saying, like I've been talking about for the past couple of minutes, is having your goals and aligning every single person who is affected by this goal, getting them on the same page. And Hub very well helps you do that. And Emily will be showing some tools in Hub that help you get to this step very easily in a little bit here. But now that you have communicated what your goals are and everyone is clear about what the goals are and what you're hoping to achieve, the next thing is to focus on the stakeholder strengths. And what I mean by this is, say you are conducting a tree survey or you're conducting some volunteer activities in your neighborhood. It is important to identify who the stakeholders are with these unique skill sets. It could be NGOs, it could be students, it could be researchers, or it could be anyone in your organization who comes with that very individual, very unique skill sets. So bring them together and start focusing on what they can contribute to further your goal. And again, we'll be showing you tools that are specific to Hub that help you achieve that. And the step 3 is now you have people coming in, they're telling you what their strengths are, what they're interested in working. And they've started working together on Hub towards those goals. The next step is establishing continued sustained communication. Like I said, it's not just about getting a goal, getting people together to work on that. It's about keeping that conversation going, just continuing to let them know, hey, you're doing a good job, but this is working, this is not working. Maybe we should invest more resources in here. And all of that happens when you have a sustained communication going on with your stakeholders. And here I want to kind of highlight that it's not just Hub, but the beauty of Hub is you can integrate to other products within Esri or even outside of Esri, like story maps, surveys, dashboards, to establish that level of communication. So we're kind of going really, really broad here, stepping away just from Hub, but I'm also seeing how can you start leveraging some of the other tools within the Esri ecosystem to help you build that communication with stakeholders. And the step 4 and the final step is measuring, analyzing, and resetting. And this is where all of this comes together in the world of GIS. With Hub, because Hub is built on ArcGIS Online, you have this amazing tool of GIS at your disposal, which helps you not just kind of track, but also analyze what's happening with your goals. What's the visual impact you and your stakeholders are having on the community? And that's how you can reset. That's how you can know, okay, I am doing this right. We are achieving this goal, or maybe we need to focus on this other part of the goal more. So really bringing in to GIS at play. So all of this combined is what will be comprising of deep collaboration in your Hub sites. So now going into the second part of our agenda that I aligned there today, it's about understanding what is Hub. in the first place. Hub is a cloud-based engagement platform that helps you work more effectively with your community than you already are working. And you might be already having your own lines of communication, your ways of working with your stakeholders, but Hub can really help you enhance that. And when I say community, it is a very, very broad term in Hub. It could be residents, it could be government leaders, it could be NGOs, your business leaders. So anyone outside of your staff, and your own organization that you want to start collaborating with, they come under the umbrella of community. So why is community so important in the first place, and how does Hub identify these groups of people or community at large? So typically, this is the way most of the projects go on. You have your staff who is working on a certain initiative or a certain project, and they're trying to communicate what's happening with this project to the very broad audience. There's nothing wrong with this. This is absolutely fine. But there could be a lot of value in identifying other groups of people or other individuals along the spectrum who can help you or can work with you together to better reach your goals. And they could be people who are just actively interested here, like, hey, I just want to know what's going on in my community. Or it could be people who are like, no, I'm invested in this goal, so I want to stay engaged, I want to stay informed and participate in whatever way I can. Or it could be those trusted collaborators. This is where deep collaboration starts coming into the picture. Or like, hey, I have something to offer to this initiative. I have been conducting my own research, or I have some tools at my own disposal that I want to start collaborating with you on, so that you can all combinedly reach your goals that much sooner. And that's where the concept of team comes in. Hub has in-built tools which helps you form teams, organize teams inside of Hub, and give them a space to work on together, share information, share feedback, and share content. And for those folks who are just interested and they just want to still keep informed, even though they don't want to really establish that deep collaboration, that's fine. We still give you an opportunity to give them an identity, give them a little bit of a peek into what are some of the things that you're working on, and maybe along the line, if they're interested, they could come into that spectrum of teams and deep collaboration. So this is a very conceptual way in which we think about how the different levels of engagement and different levels of collaboration can be established with your community, your stakeholders at large, using ArcGIS Hub. So Hub, like I said, is an online platform. It is built on ArcGIS Online. So if you already have ArcGIS Online, you can get started with Hub today. It is available with your ArcGIS Online subscription. So the Hub Basic is what you'll have with ArcGIS Online. And with Basic, you can do two main tasks. One is build Hub sites, which are great for sharing information and data related to your goals and your initiatives out to your public and your stakeholders. And of course, for open data. Content and data is a very, very big part of what we're going to be talking here today. And Hub is really excels in the number of ways that you can represent your data so that it's more consumable. People can find data easily, find information that's relevant to them easily. But all of this is one-way communication, right? You're the one who's building the site, giving that information out to people. But what we are interested in here today is the premium side of the product, which helps you take that one step ahead. So instead of having one-way communication, it's two-way communication now. So it's all about collecting feedback, collecting data, establishing collaboration, that's teams, and being able to message people in a team, being able to create events for people, being able to share content and contribute content, get content from your community members. And it's not just the one way anymore. So really, it's a lot more of things that you can start doing with the premium. And we will be diving into some of these specific tools, showing you live examples, showing you how it looks in the product today in a little bit here. But I really want to give a shout out to one of our customers. It's Alaska Geospatial Council. This is a small case study, and they have been using Hub for a while now to establish deep collaboration, and they have done a fantastic job. This is the Hub site, and you can see this Hub site in our Hub gallery. And the reason why I chose this case study today here is because they've really gone through those 4 steps that I've outlined previously. So the first one is aligning people on goals and purposes and getting everyone on the same page. So their idea is to facilitate collaboration and communication between the general public and private stakeholders and the Alaska Geospatial Council themselves. So you have different people with different intents who are coming into this hub site. But no matter who is coming in here, the vision, the mission, the strategic goals, everything is very clearly called out. So it's me, you, anyone who's coming into this hub site, we can just take a glance and know what this hub site is all about, what are they trying to achieve, and who is the audience for this. So once they have people all aligned on that one goal and the mission, it's all about identifying the stakeholders and what their strengths are. So they've created separate pages or separate buckets within their hub site where people with that strengths or people with who are more aligned towards a particular goal can go in and be. For instance, if I'm someone who is working in the transportation department, or I'm someone who's more interested in that group, I can go in, create an account for myself using the Hub Premium capabilities that they have activated, and I can go in and see what's going on in that particular hub site, just in that transportation working group, what is going on, and I can start participating. And the step 3 is establishing continued sustained communication. And they're using some of the inbuilt tools such as Hub events to do this. And like I said, if I'm interested in transportation, they've created a separate event just for people like me, just for people in my group or my team to come in and participate and share notes and meetings. So they've really gone to a really good extent of detail to identify who their stakeholders are, what are their strengths, and how do you keep communicating with them again and again. And they have leveraged the power of GIS to very visually represent what the impact their stakeholders are having on their goals. And this is a great way to even see what percentage of the goals have been completed, what is in progress, and still what are some of the things that needs to be contracted. So this is an example. I will be sharing the link here at the end of the webinar today again, but this is a great way in which they've established deep collaboration using Hub. Now we will be getting into some of the tools and specific ways in which you can start doing the same. You can start establishing deep collaboration with your community.
All right. So as Hershey said, we've got those 4 steps for deeper collaboration. And I'm going to be going through and talking about what Hub can offer, as well as the other tools in our suite of tools that can help you reach each of those steps. So step 1 is aligning goals and purposes, getting everyone on the same page. And Hub sites are a big way to do that, and having informative sites and informative relevant content to be able to communicate what you're working towards and show that very transparently. So on the right-hand side, you can see a really great Hub site. This is from the city of Boise, and it is their City of Trees Challenge. And you can see all the different components, kind of the anatomy of a good Hub site. So as we look on the left, all those different pieces, we've got the header at the top with the mission. We've got information about the goal and tracking our progress towards that. There's an event coming up. We can see this nice embedded map. We can look at these performance metrics that are showing the impact that community members are having. You can see opportunities to engage. You can see what other initiatives the city is doing that are related. And then finally, the ability to contact the city at the end. So these are a lot of the components that go into a really great informative Hub site, again, with that purpose of aligning everyone on the goals and the purpose, getting everyone on the same page. Now, of course, you're going to have other web properties too. Most folks that we work with and who are using ArcGIS Hub, they have their Hub site for a specific purpose, but they may have other web properties like a .gov site that they're using. And we are building the ability to be able to embed content that you put on your Hub site in those other web properties. So we're looking at the Tucson Delivers Hub site. There are a few gallery cards here. So as you can see, this one right here for a project that they have going on, what we're developing is the ability to take that card out of the Hub site and put it directly into their existing web property. So again, bringing people together, making sure everyone is aligned and on the same page. An important part of that is consistent messaging. And so this is going to give you the ability to make sure your messaging is consistent across, and very visually consistent as well, across all your different web properties. Now, content is a big part of this as well. So you want to have a visually appealing, great hub site, like that great case study that Hershey was showing with the Alaska Geospatial Council, that really lays out the work that you are doing and these broader initiatives that you're working towards. But having content that is relevant and that relates to that is very important as well, and providing easy access to that. So just an example, the Open Data DC site, say I'm a community member, I want to find information on bike shares. So I go in here, you can see my search term there, I've been brought to this search result page. I can scroll down and see these types of results are exactly what I was looking for. I wanted information on bike shares. I can use the filters on the left-hand side to narrow down my results, and I can see that brought it down to 94 relevant results. So let's click on the first one, and I am immediately brought to this map, and I can see all the different locations of these bike shares all over the city of Washington, DC. And I can download that data as well, and I can download it in a variety of formats. So it's making this data and content very easily accessible and easy to utilize for anyone in the community who is looking to get access to it. Now, showcasing content is very important, and we have a variety of tools to be able to showcase content depending on the number of items you want to show. So if you're looking to just highlight one or two items, that embed capability is going to be great. So that was like that, the example on the Boise website that I was showing with the map with all the trees, that would be an embedded piece of content. If you have a few more, like 3 to 5, you could use a gallery to be able to show those and link people out to those other items. And then if you have tens or hundreds or thousands of items that you want to be showcasing, you can utilize category cards, which bring you to that search page with a predefined query. Now, here's what those look like in Hub. So we've got that City of Trees example on the left for an embedded map. We have this gallery card in the middle, so that's what you can use to showcase several different items. And then if you have a ton of items and you want to bring people to that search catalog, you can use these nice visual category cards as an easy way to get to that. And these category cards set a query for filtering the search to show exactly anything that is tagged with these certain topics. So a few different avenues to be able to access that relevant content. And any community member has the ability to go into the data more and explore it and see what is specifically relevant to them. So let's go back to that capital bike share location data set. So I have these tools on the right-hand side of the map, and I can just draw. I can circle an area. So say I live in this neighborhood in Washington, DC. I want to see what bike shares are near me. And I can see up at the top, it's now filtered to 12 out of those 687 records. And if I want to download only that subset, I can do that. I just filter, toggle that filter on for just downloading those that I've selected. Now I can also use these map tools to create a buffer. So say I live right here in DC and I want to be finding a bike share near me, but I don't want to walk more than a half mile. I can put in a half mile and it draws that buffer right around that point. And I can do that for any point, polyline or polygon. So this is a really neat way to explore any mappable data on any public HUD site and make it relevant for yourself. Informative metadata is the last step in this, and something that is really important to, again, making sure everyone is on the same page, making sure that the content that they are looking for and finding, they can understand what it's for, they quickly know if it's relevant to them and if they can benefit from using it. So this is a great example from DC. Capital bike share locations. Perfect. Excellent title. And this data set contains locations and attributes of capital bike share sites. So it's very clear. I immediately know what it is. I can drill into that more. I can see the great title and the nice thumbnail that developed. I've got a human readable summary. I've got the published date, the number of records. And then down here at the bottom, I can see all the different attributes that are a part of that data set, as well as the area that it is relevant for. And I can scroll down even further past all those attributes, and I can see other data sets that may be of interest to me. So again, having clear, understandable metadata is another great way when you're looking at your content to be able to bring everyone together on the same page and provide access in a way that they can understand and relate to. And for steps 2 and 3, I will pass it back to Hershey.
Thanks, Emily. Okay. All right. So for steps 2 and 3 here. So now that Emily has showed you how you can use content and how you can use information to get everyone on the same page, to get everyone informed about what's going on, what's your goals, and what's the relevant information, the focus is now on stakeholders. The focus is on how can you bring your community members and your stakeholders to be a part of your hub site and to work on your goals and initiatives together with you. So essentially, this is a very conceptual diagram of how Hub Premium adds a community org to your already existing employee org. So like I said, it is a cloud-based platform. Hub is a cloud-based platform that is built on ArcGIS Online. So with every ArcGIS Online, you have the employee org or the main org that's already given to you. And this is where all of your content, all of your organization's content, all of your staff members and contractors would essentially be having a role to play. This is where they will be sharing content, creating the hub sites, and so on. But now when you do get premium, there is this additional organization that's added that's called the community org. Now, these two orgs are separate, but they are connected. When I say connected, it just means you as the staff or you as the organization get to control what is happening with this community org, who gets to be a member of this community org, how do they get to be a member of this community org. So do they just register? Do they have a specific sign-in procedure to do that? Or do they just come in through the follow button? So you get to completely design the experience for your stakeholders or for your community members. And once they are inside this community org, what privileges do they get? What content can they share? What sort of activities can they do in your hub site? So you in this particular employee org get to control everything that's happening in the community org, and anything that you are very privately sharing with your stakeholders in the employee org will remain there. It will not be visible or it will not be shared with in your community org unless you want to, unless that's your intent. So you get very specific roles and tasks that you can assign to people in this community organization. So now that we've kind of understood how community org works and what exactly a community org is, how can your stakeholders find you? How can they get to be the part of that community org? Well, there's multiple points of entry in Hub, and we see our customers using one or a combination of these points of entries so that stakeholders can find you easily. Stakeholders can come in and be in that pool of community org. And a few of them are first and foremost the follow button. I'll be showing that to you in a minute with some examples, but this is the most common way in which you can open up your hub site to your general audience and to your community members and people who are very interested, or just those people who want to be engaged. They want to be actively engaged. They just want to know any updates that are going on and how you're progressing through your goal. They can click that follow button and just keep updated. And the other way is you can add or invite members. So this is a very specific workflow. So if you have certain NGOs or certain organizations or certain members that you want to collaborate with or add to a team, you can automatically invite them. You can send them an invite and add them to those particular groups or teams. Or the other tools that you can use is events. Events is one of the most popular inbuilt Hub Premium tools that we have seen as a point of entry. So every time you stand up an event, you have an option to turn the attend button on, which basically means people who are attending are pulled into a pool of the attendees. So now with these folks, you can message, you can share data, you can share information, that's relevant to an event. And the other one is creating calls of action with sign up, sign in. Hey, you want to volunteer? Come in and sign up. So just creating multiple ways and multiple doors, windows, whatever you will, into your hub site or into your hub organization so that people can choose what they prefer and they can come in and be a part of your community pool. So there's two pools, like I said, it's either a follower pool or the attendee group. But no matter which pool they're coming in, you can put them into something called teams. That's a supporting team, so that they can start working together on shared goals. So supporting teams in Hub can either be of an edit type or a view type, and I'll be leaving enough resources at the end of the presentation that goes deep into it, but just understanding that this team can comprise of staff members or your community members or just your community members. Whatever is the combination that you would like, you can create a team with those members. And that's the entire workflow of how people come in and then be a part of the community pool, and a select few members based on their interests and strengths can be put into supporting teams. So like I said, this is how people can find you. So these are the points of entries and how this looks in the product today. The follow button, which I said is the most popular one, can be turned on for all your Hub Premium sites right in your Hub site edit mode. And anyone who comes across this follow button that's turned on, say I land onto an ecotourism Hub site, and I'm really interested in knowing what's happening in this Hub site, I can just click that follow button and I will be prompted to create an account. Or if I already have an account, I can use an existing account and just start following that initiative. So now I'm actively engaged. But for say there are some members in your community or there are other organizations that you want to really invite and you don't want to have anyone or everyone in the community following you, you can turn off that follow button and you can start creating invites and sending it out to people. And there's this third step, which we don't see a lot of people using, but it is an option that's available, is the membership requests. So from ArcGIS Online, you can go in and you can have a membership that's kind of curated with membership requests, and people who are interested to be a part of your Hub initiative can come in and send a request. But this requires a little bit of setup on the back end, but these two, the follow and invitations, are built right into your Hub site. And this is an example of how the third point of entry, that's the events, is being used by our Hub customers. So the Maryland.gov, which is the Maryland, again, this is the Department of Transportation in Maryland. They're using events as one of the places where people can come in and start entering into the Hub site to get relevant information. One, this is definitely increasing a lot more awareness on projects that are going on in that community, but also event attendees themselves can share the event with other members in the community through email and social media. So it's really spreading the word out. More and more members of our community can come in now, sign up to participate in this event. And I also mentioned the fourth one is call to action. So I just have some screenshots of a lot of Hub customers who are doing this in different ways. And one of the ways here is the MET Conservation Easement Monitoring Hub site. They have the follow button turned on, but they also have a really nice call out here, like, hey, you can register for an account, but what happens when you register for an account? So if you do register for a community account, you will be able to use multiple mobile applications, which they may have made very specific to people with an account. So really creating that calls for actions. And this is the Green and Healthy Schools in Wisconsin who are saying people, hey, you can request for an account. So you can fill out the survey and you can request so that you can come in and get an account. So this is just another way of doing this. And the third one is for Volunteer Oakland. They have an entire page dedicated to volunteer signups. So they create a very nice, give a lot of information on how can you sign up, what happens when you sign up, what are the activities you can do if you sign up. So really kind of giving those call outs and telling people like, hey, there is an opportunity for you to come in and start participating in one or more of the initiatives that we're working working on. And this is exactly what's shown here. This is again another example where you have multiple callouts, like the follow button and the event happening at the same time in the hub site, and say that now I want to participate in this. What is the experience like for me? So now I click that follow button. I am prompted to the New Mexico Highlands University, and they have configured the sign-in so that I know that I'm still in the hub site. I'm still in the place that I want to be. And they've even said that, hey, you don't have an account, that's fine. You can go in and create a Hub community account. So because I don't have an account already, I'm going in and creating it. And as a community administrator, you can completely configure what this experience would look like for someone like me coming in and trying to follow your Hub initiative. And what I personally like and what I've seen customers really like is turning on the social media logins. So if they already have Facebook, if they already have Google, so if they already have any other social media logins, they can just use that to come in and create an account for themselves. So those are some of the ways in which you can start getting people together, getting people to come in and start following you, start letting you know that, hey, I'm interested to play a bigger role in an initiative. And once they do that, they have a lot of privileges. One of that is they can have a user profile. So now say I have followed, I have created an account in one of those initiatives. I get to manage my own user profile. I can join a team, which is an amazing thing for deep collaboration. I can start contributing my own content. I can start giving feedback. I can sign up for events. I can follow to receive updates. And I can even start creating my own applications inside of the Hub. So there are a whole lot of things I can do as a community member once I do take that step to come in and start engaging. So like I said, Hub comes with inbuilt tools to build teams. And we have a core team, which is what you get when you first launch your Hub site. A core team essentially, usually, is made up of members from your organization for building and managing the Hub site. For anyone else now who might have clicked that follow button, who might have clicked that attend button on the event, or any other way you might have invited them. Now you've identified that, say I have 15 people that are very interested in trees or tree surveys. You can create a supporting team just for them, give that label of tree survey, and once they are in that place, you can give them activities or goals to work on. And that's how we intend supporting teams to be functioning. And with an edit supporting team, they can not just contribute content, but they can even work on editing the Hub page that's dedicated to tree surveys. So it's just really up to you how much control you want to give to people in those supporting teams. But the idea is you want them to start collaborating. You want them to start sharing information. You want them to start sharing feedback with you and amongst themselves. And within the product today, how does that look like? We have this concept of team workspace, which is inbuilt into the product. So any team you open up, you will be able to see the team workspace today and say, like I said, if I'm a part of this tree survey team, I get to see who else is a part of this team, who else is interested in the same things that I am, and what is the content that's shared here that's relevant to what I'm interested in, and it is ready and out of the box. And once I do notice all of that, and I say I have gone out and have created a survey, I've conducted a survey of trees in my locality this weekend, I can come back and very simply share or add content and share it with my team members and say, hey guys, I went out and I conducted this survey, and this is the results, this is the information. And we have built this to be really, really simple. So no matter if you're GIS, non-GIS, whatever is your tech savviness level, you can just upload a file. Like it's just as simple as browsing for a file and uploading it onto your Hub site. And you can even, as an organization, make it easy for people to find that team workspace. So we have something called a team card that we released pretty recently. So say I am the tree survey team, like I said, I'm working here. So instead of logging in and trying to find the team workspace again and again, I can find it right on the Hub site very easily. Just click that card and I will be directed to my team workspace. So just creating it and making it more and more easy for people to come in and collaborate with each other. So this is what the team card looks like. But say this is a private team. We are very passionate about tree survey, but we are very private about it as well. That's fine. you can make it whatever is the controls that you have set for it, it will be reflected in the Hub site. And say Emily is not a part of the prestigious tree survey team, she will not be able to see that card, even though it is a part of the Hub site. Only because I'm a member of it, I'll be able to see it. So you get to control the privacy and who gets to see what. To the next step, how do you establish continued and sustained communication? Now, people have come in, people have been put into groups, they've been given tasks to work on, or they have some goals that they're working towards. How do you keep the communication going and sustained? So creating a rich ongoing digital conversation, like I said, is really key. And there's different ways you can do this in Hub. So we also have a lot of inbuilt tools, like I've already mentioned events, but you also have messaging capabilities in Hub. So you have your team members or you have your followers group and you want to message them and you want to send some information across to them. That's possible right from within Hub. And we also have something called map-based surveys, which I'll be showing in a little bit here, but it's a beautiful combination of GIS, that's geography, and surveys, and how people can just use a very simple survey to put location, to add location, and add feedback that's very specific to that location that they're in. But also we have a very exciting new feature that we're working on called discussions that lets you have very specific threaded conversations, like a back and forth conversation with your team members inside of Hub, a very cool feature that will be released next month. And I have a small demo, a sneak peek demo for you guys here today. But if it's something else, if it's a more broader audience that you're trying to reach, you can always use integrated tools like Survey 123, which I've seen in the poll now that a lot of people are already using, so that's great. But we also have a lot of ways to use surveys, a lot of templates that you can use. And the other part of this is really expanding out of Hub is you can also embed other products like dashboards and story maps to really keep that communication going and really start talking to people more and more. And this is how integrated surveys are in the product. So if you go in and click the feedback tab on the Hub edit page, you get to see there's multiple forms of feedback that you can collect. And you have a map survey, like I already said, but you can also have quick polls, questionnaires, or you can create your own from scratch. So no matter what sort of feedback that you're trying to get from people, you can do that. I know we use the term feedback, but this is also a great tool to collect content, which I also see from the poll answers. That's something you're really interested in. So surveys are a great tool for that. You can curate your questions. You can ask for information for content from people to be shared through a Survey 123 form. And again, Hub events are another great tool to keep engaged and keep the conversation going and live. It is a premium only feature, and you can have you can share events from across initiatives, and you can invite community members to come in and participate in your events and also email your attendees. And this is what a map-based survey looks like. Like I said, it's a very cool feature in which the community members can go in, add a location, and say, hey, this is where, I see a regular hammock. So you can curate the questions, you can see what information that you're trying to get, and people can add a location for that. But it is mobile first, so it is mobile responsive. So say I am just taking a walk in my community and I see a pothole and I want to say like, hey, this is where I see a pothole. So it's really mobile responsive. I can add a location specific to where I'm standing and just answer those questions in the survey. So it's really, really nifty and easy tool to get on the, go surveys from your community. And when I said messaging stakeholders, it is possible within the product to just message them, send out an email to all of them. But also another key part of it is sharing updates. And this is an example that Emily already showed. A big shout out to Boise. They're doing a great job on keeping everyone informed and engaged on what's happening. They're using a statistics cards, they're using web applications, they're using a whole lot of other tools to keep everyone informed. And of course, they also have a contact us, a shout out, like, hey, you have more questions, that's okay, you can always send us an email. And this is one of the features that's going to be coming soon in the Hub product. Like I said, it's a discussions. Discussions is Exactly that. It is a discussion. It allows you to have a discussion with members in your team. So it is team-based and it is completely private. So only members who are in that team will be able to see what's going on, and you can have that associated with the content items. So say there is a web application or a map that someone's shared about, I don't know, a tree survey that they've conducted. You can have a discussion about it, like, oh, okay, I noticed that this area has lesser density of trees. Maybe we should focus here. So really having conversations around a task that someone's done. And of course, it's geographically aware, which means you can add locations to it. So this is a very quick demo of how this looks like in the product. So if I go in and if I click on that icon of discussions, it will prompt me to go in and see all of the discussions that are happening here, all of the chats. I can see who's posted what is happening. And if someone has actually attached a location, I can even zoom in and see what that location is and what's the comment that's associated with that particular location. So I see that Juliana has a location. I can go in and see what Juliana has commented about this particular location. But if I want to go ahead and I want to start adding a new post, it's pretty simple. I just go in, add a post, and it prompts me like, hey, select a group. Who do you want to have this chat with? So I say that particular Cool Zones response team. I type up my message and I'm like, hey guys, what do you think about this particular area for a new cooling center? So I can go and draw. So we have all of the draw tools and all of the select tools already inbuilt into discussions. So you can just very simply draw and create a post. That's it. It's just as simple as that. And so anyone in my Cool Zones response team can come in and respond to that, respond to that comment that I've placed and say, I want to talk to someone very specific in my team, like say Emily. I'm like, hey, Emily, what do you think about this location? So Emily will receive an email notification. So it's a very nifty tool to have those deep collaboration conversations going on from inside of your team.
Step 4 of our steps to deep collaboration. And step 4 is measure, analyze, and reset. So very similar to the question that we just asked in the poll, GIS is at the core of deep community engagement and collaboration. So it's great to see that the majority of you on the call agree with that as well. And it comes in so many different forms. Okay, so going back to this map of trees that the community members in Boise are planting, where are trees being planted? Where are they not being planted? For the areas that they're not being planted, is there a reason? Should we be reaching out to community members in those neighborhoods? Are there local organizations that we can work with to address some of these spots that we're not seeing as much activity that we would like to be seeing? Citizen problem reporting. What types of problems are being reported over and over again? What are the certain blocks or certain intersections where problems are being reported, and where are they not being reported? What are the differences between those? How can we bring resources in and make sure the problems that we're seeing trending up are able to reverse that trend? Community equity events. So where are community members coming from that are attending these events? Are we reaching community members that we want to be? Are there ways that we can be reaching them and make these events more accessible to them or at different times? Are we reaching the intended audience? And are we making sure that we're providing access to these for everyone who wants to be involved? Are we providing information in an easily understandable, real-time way so that our community members can get access to critical information when they need it and to be able to make good decisions based on it? Are we being transparent with our demographic information and giving that information to those who want to utilize it? And the great part of all these different things, of which GIS is really the core of all of these, is that all of this can be used within Hub. So Hub really is that umbrella that takes all of these different pieces together, both Esri products and any third-party products as well, in forms of data and in information, brings it all together in one place. And Hub really enables that to happen. So measure, analyze, reset. That's step 4. Let's go through an example of that. This is a county in California, and during the redistricting time that was happening several months ago, they reached out to the community to say, hey, what are the communities of interest that we should be taking into consideration when we are doing the redistricting for this county? So they're measuring that. They're getting input from those community members. They took that, they proposed some alternatives. So they analyzed that information, proposed some different options for community members to consider, went back out to the community again to measure that, and then they can analyze the results. So to see, okay, which maps, which of these alternatives that we're proposing do our community members prefer? Why did they prefer that? And then you can take a step back and reset and say, okay, we've gotten all this great information. Now we are equipped to be able to make a good, informed decision that takes into consideration the opinions and needs of our community members. So that measure, analyze, and reset. In addition to all of that, Hub has a few tools to be able to do that measuring and analysis piece. We have Google Analytics, the ability for you to add your own Google Analytics tracking ID. So that's highlighted in that little purple rectangle. That second one down at the bottom, if you toggle that on, you can add your own tracking ID. Very soon, we're going to be adding support for Google Analytics 4, as well as Site Improve and Adobe Analytics. And the one on top of that, Hub Activity Tracking. If you toggle that on, and if your site is public, you will have access to see who is engaging with your content. So you have access to this engagement overview, this little dashboard, and you can see key metrics like number of views and sessions and average time on site, how views over time are changing. So this is a really great way to be able to measure what is happening, but also to analyze it. So if you put out some new content, if you're really working to engage with a certain group of community members, you can start seeing the impacts of your efforts translated into this really easily accessible dashboard. So a lot of ways that Hub provides the ability to measure, analyze, and reset. So that is step 4. Here are several resources. And if you check the handouts tab on GoToWebinar, you'll have a PDF that has these and a bunch more. But some of the big ones to call out here are the ArcGIS Hub Gallery. That is a fantastic resource. It is a filterable gallery with dozens of different Hub sites on every topic you could imagine, with all different types of Esri and third-party integrations, covering a whole number of sectors. So you can find a Hub site for anything, essentially. And as Barbara was saying before, yes, it is a super flexible tool that can be used in so many different situations. We've got a newsletter you can sign up for. You can talk to us in the Esri community, and you can look at the change log, because we release updates to the product every week. So every week there's something new to take advantage of. So those are all the resources. And with that, that is my last slide. And we can turn it over. I think we had one more poll question to put up for the very end, and then turn it to Q&A.
Absolutely. So just a reminder that if you are interested in having a chat further with the very capable ladies here, just click yes. And so, Maria, I welcome to the party. We are excited to take on a few questions. Folks, I know that we're down to just a minute or so before the end of our hour here, but we'll hang out for maybe 5 minutes or so and take as many of your questions as we can in that time.
Sure. We had some great questions come in over the course of the webinar. So I'll just start with right at the beginning here, and we'll try to get through as many as we can. So I think this one will be for Emily. Someone asked, using your bike location example, is it possible for users to upload a polygon rather than just draw it to make their selection?
Good question. Today it is not. You only have the point, polyline, and polygon features, but that is an excellent idea. I'd be keen to learn more about that if you see customers that have a specific area of interest that they'd like to track for that. So keen to learn more, but it is not possible in the product today.
Great. Okay, and here's one related to our new discussions feature and maybe future forward things. So someone's asking, are there plans for ArcGIS Hub Premium to incorporate functionality such as message boards or forums for community users to communicate with one another?
Yes, absolutely. That's a big focus for us going into 2023, a little bit next year. So the first step to get to that process is internal discussions. It's that content-based discussions, which enables the collaboration. But we have plans to kind of take it out to public. So you'll get public discussions, and formats of that would include forums. But I am, again, very keen to get some specifics around that, what formats of forums and what are the specific requirements around those. So I'd be happy to connect and ask more questions actually about what exactly would you like to see.
Awesome. Okay, someone asks, can you integrate and embed Microsoft Forms for those forms that are managed by other departments?
Good question. The answer is yes. You can embed forms of any kind into a hub site. We recommend Survey 123 because it has that geospatial capability backing it up. And so you can very easily have the form and show those responses on a map live right next to it. So that's a really powerful way to make your community members feel like they're being heard, to be transparent and showing those results up front. So you can embed any other forms you're using, but Survey 123 is there for a powerful tool as well.
Thanks, Emily. Another question was, when will ArcGIS Hub Premium support adding community users directly to supporting teams during the user invite account setup process?
It's another great question. And this is, again, something that's on our radar. And we have been tracking, customers are requesting this and collecting requirements around this. But yes, maybe a couple of months into the future, but it is definitely on our radar and we're working towards it. Not today, but yes, in the future,
okay,
for sure.
Awesome. Two more quick questions. Do the discussion tools have some sort of administration tools to remove abusive posts?
Oh, another excellent question, and not for internal discussions because it is happening within a team, and a team is an intentional group of people that have come together to discuss. But we are building specific moderation tools, which will be coming out with the later on releases when we take discussions more to the public forum, and when discussions are going to be public. Yes, we are having a lot of moderation tools that will be inbuilt into it.
Awesome. And here's one last forward-thinking question. So they're asking, aside from following an initiative, is there a way for anonymous community members to stay engaged with the Hub initiative without creating an identity for that initiative?
Yes, again, another good question. And people don't have to create an account to stay updated. Creating an account is a recommended way for them to get those updates more quickly. They can always check back, and any part of your hub site could be made private or public. So if you intentionally make every single data, every single information content in your hub site public, people don't have to create an account to come and access that information or see that information. So they can still remain anonymous and get that information. But creating an account encourages them to get more information more privately, more securely, and interacting more alignment. Yeah.
Awesome. And the last question, and I think it's something that we might have, we had so much to cover in this webinar, we didn't really go over this, but someone's asking about, are there templates that I can use when creating a new site?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We have a lot of templates that you can start, using as the first step to start creating your hub site. And we do release a lot of templates, new ones. And if you go to the gallery link that's on the resources as well, there's another tab where you can see all of the templates that's available in Hub. And you can browse through them and you can just activate a template and get started with Hub.
And it's great because you can activate a template and within a few clicks, you can have a hub site. So it's a really easy way to get started. And we've got templates covering a whole number of topics. So they're really powerful tools.
Thank you, Hershey and Emily, for the wonderful presentation and awesome news you've shared with our audience. And I hope the audience is excited to start building sites, initiatives, and engaging with your community after this. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And send any hub sites our way because we would love to see them.
One more thing. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at ArcGIS Hub, And you can share, when you build things, if you're proud of them and excited for others to take a look. And if you want to inspire others with your work, please give us a shout out there, and we'll definitely share your ideas and work with the community. So thank you.
Excellent. You guys go make it a great day. Be sure to tell a friend about ArcGIS Hub and Directions Magazine. Thanks, everybody.